That was third and whatever. That was pretty freaking garbage. UCLA loses it to Arizona in every facet of the game, 27-10. Many missed opportunities. Let's get weird and talk about this one late after the game.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That was third and whatever. If you get the reference, you know what I mean. UCLA loses this one 27-10. You look at some stats, you say a week after UCLA turns it over 4 times in the first half alone, doinks a field goal from very short distance, you would have thought UCLA lost that game. They didn't. They beat Colorado. In this game, they block a punt, the Bruins do, and force the only turnover of the game. Unfortunately, costly mistakes in the red zone that weren't turnovers, but nonetheless missed field goals and everything in between cost the Bruins in this game. Absolutely cost the Bruins in this game. I said coming into this one, UCLA needed to not choke it and be a mistake-free football team. That didn't happen. That did not happen. And they lost. This is the instant reaction to the game. I'm Anderson-Yoxsimer. Thanks for tuning in to Locked On UCLA. Frustrations boiling over. 6-3 are the Bruins, but they fall to 3-3 in conference play. Not one, but 2 quarterbacks knocked out due to injury. You got Garbers, who got his leg crunched of sorts. We hope he's okay, but couldn't put any weight on I believe, one of his legs going out the field. You have Dante Moore, who on 4th and $1 billion got pummeled to the turf, hit his on the ground. You wonder what his injury status is looking like. And then we saw Colin Schlee late in the game when the Bruins were down 17, trying to do whatever it took to get them down the field. And the defense, my goodness, their worst performance of the year. Not that they're helped out by their offense, not that they give up 50 a week like the team across town. Still, when they needed to play good, even great, they did not. This was a very subpar performance as UCLA gave up almost 430 yards of offense, allowed Arizona to go 11 for 16 on third down. That's unheard of if you want to be the best defense of UCLA for UCLA all time. Best defense in the country. You can't let the opposing team, you can't let the opposition go 11 for 16 on third down. That's just not going to be a recipe for success. Fifita, 300 yards passing. And while Arizona only rushed it for 129 yards, it certainly felt like a lot more. I know the Bruins had a couple of tackles for loss in certain respects, but the Arizona run game, pretty solid for a UCLA team that was able to get 11 tackles for loss in this game. So while Arizona, again, only had 129 yards rushing, the tackles for loss kind of hurt that a little bit in that number and that average. Arizona was able to run the football. The Bruins could not make plays on third downs to save their football lives in this game. And when the Bruins got to the red zone, inefficiency at its finest. The missed field goals, the inability to score a touchdown when you're at the 4-yard line where Garbers almost threw the pick, but his knee was on the ground for 10 years. And then you get down deep in Arizona's territory after the block of the field goal. I'm not really sure what they're play calling. It was evident they didn't trust Dante Moore to throw the football, but a couple of false start penalties. And then next thing you know, UCLA is falling short in this one. And you have Moore trying to face 4th and 19. And we know that doesn't work because he's going to be scrambling for the play. And everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. In a game they didn't even turn it over, they got sacked 3 times. Arizona only had 4 tackles for loss. And they lose this game by 17 on the road. Let's take a quick look at the keys to the game. All right, let's take a quick look at keys to the game. 1, turnover-free football. Well, who knows what turnovers are? Apparently it's food because it's not a key to the game anymore. You turn it over 4 times, and UCLA wins the game. You don't turn it over at all on the road, and they lose the game. Key number 1 wiped off. Key number 2, stop the run. Yes, the Bruins had 11 tackles for loss, but I do not think they stopped the run because Arizona was definitely able to go down and dominate this game via the run, mix it up a little play action, and Arizona used the run to let Fifita get some open receivers, hit some guys in traffic, and the Bruins couldn't stop the run. 3, QB pressure. Not enough when you saw Fifita, even on the drive they didn't score, Fifita spitting out of a would-be sack from 2 separate players, dodging a tackle near the line of scrimmage, and running for a first down. That was the story of the night. Missed chances leading to a UCLA loss. Defensively, offensively, special teams, every facet of this game contributed to a UCLA loss, which now looking forward, you've got Arizona State, which just got absolutely pummeled by Utah, which might be an even tougher game because ASU's defense, despite what Utah did to them, is actually sneakily a tough unit. And if UCLA's down to Colin Schlee as your starting quarterback and not just your change of pace option, I wonder what that game looks like, what the SC game looks like, what the Cal game looks like for your next 3. The Bruins are bowl eligible. They're out of it in the Pac-12 title race. So now it's just a matter of how can the team grow? And if Moore is out because he banged his head at the end of the game there, then it's not even a moving time to analyze Dante Moore moving forward. It's, hey, we've only got Schlee and we're trying to win football games, or the 10-win season is still very much in play for UCLA. Just up and down, all the road games, all the frustration just boiling over in this game. It's just, I'm absolutely frustrated. I sat down, watched a day of college football, watched all the near upsets of the day. The only upset of the day shouldn't have been an upset because you got a tackle in the end zone. All these near upsets, crazy, stupid things happening. And then you've got the UCLA Bruins who just sit there and unfortunately lay an egg. They get the early pick of Fifita. They nearly take it to the house. And yes, they miss a couple of field goals. The Bruins try to switch things up, switch kickers. And that didn't work. Block punts, forcing a turnover, getting pressure. None of that worked in this game. And unfortunately, my one prediction, Arizona winning the game, ended up coming true. And I didn't want it to come true. It just seemed a little too much for UCLA to be favored in this game. The way the Wildcats have been playing, they absolutely murdered Washington State. They just beat Oregon State, who UCLA had trouble when the Beavers could go with a run-pass attack that the Bruins truly hadn't faced all year. And Arizona beat those 2 teams back-to-back while competing with Washington on the verge of beating SC on the road. They've competed with Mississippi State earlier this year, and that was with Delora as the starting quarterback. They went to overtime despite multiple interceptions in that game. And yet here UCLA was in a game where being favored was certainly a tough sledding for them with the team coached by Jed Fish, who's got a personal vendetta, it seems like, against UCLA after he wanted to be on the coaching staff, if not get the head coaching job for the Bruins, and is going to try and take it to them every time he gets, and did so twice in the last 2 seasons. The Bruins and Wildcats were conference foes. Utterly frustrating. This is just straight emotions. I got no cohesive thought in my brain right now, other than that was just utter garbage. I know the players played their hearts out, but there was just frustrating penalties. In this game, you needed to play a clean game because 4 penalties for 37 yards, while certainly not the worst by Chip Kelly UCLA coach team by any stretch of the imagination, is way too many in a game where Arizona only commits 1 to 2 penalties. They don't make too many mistakes. A turnover, yes, but you score 0 points off that, a huge mistake. You get to the red zone, don't score, huge mistake. All these things added up into UCLA losing this game. It was just frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. And I don't know what's going to come next with the quarterback injuries of sorts. We'll just have to wait because of the recording of this podcast. There is nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Just frustration. And the Bruins dropped their 3rd on the road against what will be, unless something's dumb happening, an Arizona Wildcat team that's ranked in the next CFP rankings. That's just how it is. Frustrating. I'm angry. I'm out. We're in an A-clap in just a moment. With FanDuel, you can score early this NFL season because they're in America's #1 sports book. New customers get $150 in bonus bets when winning any $5 moneyline bets. Interesting. $150 if your team wins. Unfortunately, the Bruins didn't, but if you follow my line of thinking and thought, hey, the bet against UCLA rule, you would have won an extra $150 with that bonus bet. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, spreads, player props, and more. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Because from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. Over 120 million plus parts for your number one ride or die. You always find exactly what you're looking for because they've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're not burning rubber. You're burning rubber, not burning cash. You ain't gonna be burning that bad boy. With parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Locked On UCLA. The Bruins dropped this one to Arizona 27-10, losing the last two in the series to the Wildcats, frustratingly in 2022, and somewhat even more so in the same in 2023 with a surging Wildcats team that played really well. They played clean football. Jetfish is a well-coached team right there, and the Bruins fell short. That's just how unfortunate it is. 2 quarterback injuries, and we'll see what this means going forward for the Bruins with the reassessment of injuries for the next day and beyond, how much that affects the Bruins going forward. I know basketball season's starting pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Adamar is clear. Those are the good news. And UCLA fans, despite every inkling that you don't want to, despite everything, despite it all, you get your hands up, and we're doing a clap. Hands up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA, fight, fight, fights. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach out. Go Bruins.